Not too many people can say they have a canoe, a teepee, a raccoon, a giant moose head, and a tree inside their cottage.
Just a bit of fun and whimsy.
Or how about interiors built entirely from a decommissioned ship?
They took out every piece of wood, every sign, every bunk, the head, everything from that ship and rebuilt the second floor of this cottage.
On the flip side, this family prefers back to basics at their retreat. No TV, no internet, no power boats. On an island?
In order to get to the island, we row over. We don't even have a 6 horsepower, a 10 horsepower, or even a 1 horsepower. We just got Johnny horsepower.
I'm Mark.
I'm Summer. I'm Dee Dee.
And this is our retreat.
At 12,000 square feet in size, this family's retreat is a high-end mansion and the ultimate in luxury. It features 8 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, a movie theater, an elevator, even a hot yoga room.
It's designed for entertainment for sure. For everybody, there's something for everybody. For children, no matter what age you are, you're going to have a good time. Have a lot of fun here.
Mark and Dee Dee spared no expense when building their dream cottage retreat.
We have a basketball court. We have a putting green with a big enough shook. We love to swim. We love to go boating. Hot tubbing is great. The dream was to build something that everyone would want to come to and enjoy, family from the city, and also to have a place for us that would be very special. And I think we did achieve that. Come on in. I'll show you inside. This is our grand room, and it's truly a showstopper. The great room is designed with a lot of what really basically this cottage is all about, which is bringing the outside in. It was what was here on the property long before we ever were, so that was important. These trees were done by 2 set designers from Toronto. And they took the actual molds off of trees out on our property. Just a bit of fun and whimsy.
The thing is, they're not real trees, but the dogs think they are.
We've had a dog pee on the tree a couple times. Big mistake. Over here, we have a prime example of bringing the outdoors in. This table was hand-carved by an amazing artist. He was spectacular. And as you can see, we have the raccoon who is fishing here because our lake area is known for best fishing on the planet. And above me is our magnificent moose. He's absolutely beautiful. Could you imagine ever running into a moose on a property like this?
Dee Dee and her daughter, Summer, decorated all 12,000 square feet of this cottage. Keeping a natural and rustic look throughout the retreat was important to them. You won't find one piece of drywall here. Instead, it's all tongue-and-groove pine and hemlock.
There's so much throughout this whole place that is all incorporated. It's all done from wood or beautiful ironworks, stone, incredible.
It's going to age very well over the years.
Beautifully, yeah. It's like an old, beautiful lodge, and it's going to seem like it's been here forever. And this is Whiskey Bay Saloon. This is our huge entertainment area. Everybody loves to sit on these saddles. We have the pool table, we have the card game area. There's just a stand-up bar for fun. We have shuffleboard, everything for everyone to have a lot of fun here. It's a great time. So no saloon would be any good if it didn't have saloon doors. And so this is why we call it Whiskey Bay. And this is my ultimate kitchen. It's an absolute chef's dream. We have 2 warming drawers, 2 ovens, 2 dishwashers, and 2 fridges. It's a pretty cool spot to be. It's a great place to absolutely cook for people and a wonderful place for entertaining. I designed it with myself in mind, but also with company in mind. So my ultimate favorite thing in this kitchen is the spectacular view. I have out these magnificent windows while I'm chopping and getting all my food prepped, ready to cook. I thoroughly enjoy that.
The kitchen overlooks the 3-bay boathouse, where Mark and Dee Dee store their summer toys. And if you look carefully, you can even see the cottage's majestic mascot.
It all started with this moose. We discovered this moose at a beautiful gallery, and we purchased him and put him on the point. That's what caused us to call this place Moose Point. What happens here with this moose now is in the spring, the female moose come looking for this moose. And I think they think that they're going to have a little bit of fun, but unfortunately when they come in and they find out it's not a real moose, they end up swimming away on our beach. Very disappointed.
The bedrooms in this cottage all have unique names, including Dee Dee and Mark's room.
And this is my master bedroom. We named all of the rooms after bays on the lake, and we call this Sunset Bay. This beautiful bed was made actually in Montana, and we had it shipped up here. I love the fact that it's incredibly rustic. It has this beautiful warm feel of this wood, and it just came from the outdoors, like you carved it from the forest. This is my master ensuite, and I absolutely love the beautiful river rock stone. This is a beautiful hand-carved sink, and it was done by Don Knowles, who's a local artist, and he's done these for presidents. He's done them for royalty. It's just an incredible piece of artwork that we included into our home. And you'll notice this shower. It's a complete steam shower, and it's lovely because you can look right down the lake from the shower, and it's just so beautiful, especially in the colder months, to be able to sit in here and have a nice hot steam and then have a great shower, and you feel so refreshed to go out and enjoy the rest of your day.
While Dee Dee lives to entertain and spend time with friends and family, she also appreciates some downtime. And when she does, she comes here.
This is my very favorite room in the house. It is my sun porch, my room. What I love about this room is that it provides a lot of tranquility for me. It's very peaceful, it's quiet, away from company, and then I can get back into the social game after I've had some downtime for me. So this is my retreat within my retreat.
I love it up here, and I think it's the most beautiful place in the world.
It just feels like everything from the cities just falls off of you, and you're just so relaxed when you get here. And it doesn't take very long.
We wanted unique, and I think we definitely achieved that.
Massive to modest, this retreat is small in scale, but big on heart, especially after every inch was lovingly restored.
I walk in, I'm just like, this is our place? I can't believe this. This is amazing. Brian, I need some loving.
Please edit this out.
I'm Jen,
And I'm Chris.
and this is our retreat.
Chris and Jennifer Stewart are passionate about preserving their family heritage, all of which is embodied in this quaint 80-year-old retreat. They've spent the last year investing all their time, love, and energy into restoring this cottage back to its original glory.
10 months ago, the cottage was in such a state that the floors were falling down. There was all sorts of structural issues that had to be addressed. We had a choice of either selling the place or tearing it down. We didn't like either of those answers, and that's when we started the whole rebuilding it from the ground up, pretty much.
We grew up here. My father grew up here. My kids grew up here. This is the family and friend meeting place. There's no way I could do anything but restore it.
The cottage was originally built by Jennifer's grandmother in 1932, and she gave it an interesting name.
The name of our cottage is Twanchet, and it means a good landing place.
The native peoples in these parts, they had looked at a number of different places to set up a settlement, and this was very close to the actual location of their first landing place, as it were.
This cottage is very special. There's maybe 3 that are original to the bay that are still standing.
It's truly unique.
It is. It's very unique.
Unique enough that it was worth saving, and also upgrading to make it more livable for years to come. It's been nothing short of a labor of love.
In order to restore this cottage, we had to raise it. We had to winterize it. Everything was stained, repainted, new kitchen put in, new bathroom put in. Am I missing anything?
Yeah, the new floor, which is actually an old barn floor that they've restructured and reclaimed. The look of the cottage exterior hasn't changed one iota, and we've kept a lot of the charm and the quaintness of it on the inside as well.
And now, it's finally done.
And I'm amazed. I walk in, I'm just like, this is our place? I can't believe this. This is amazing.
Welcome to Twanchet. Everything on these walls is part of the history of the cottage, from the 1930s right up. All the trinkets, from the bell to the candle holders, are old. We have the horse harness from the 30s. So just a little bit of everything. And this is our kitchen. This is my favorite place in the cottage and sort of my brainchild. I saw a red fridge at the store and it escalated from there. The theme of this kitchen is 1950s. It was originally brought in the electricity in the late 40s, early 50s, and I wanted to bring it back to that era.
I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen. All for free. No subscription required.
And this is our grand room.
We've maintained a lot of the original historical aspects of the cottage so we could keep the history alive.
When I look around this room, it looks the same. It looks the same as I remember when I was a little girl. But I know I have a new electricity. I know I have a new table, new floors. But everything else hasn't changed. There's swords and rifles, flintlocks, and all sorts of helmets and swords, and it's all sorts of little handmade things that go back, hundreds of years. Every corner has got a story. It's like a museum. It's just beautiful. John Neal was my father, and this is a bit of a tribute to him that we've done. We've brought his ashes up because this was his favorite place to be.
In almost every corner, Jennifer and Chris have done their best to preserve the history of their retreat.
This is the original door to our cottage and the original color, and I wanted to repurpose it, so now it's the door to our bedroom.
The cottage's second floor houses more bedrooms, and like everything else, it has a story.
Everything here on the second floor is from a decommissioned ship. The beds, the walls, the floors, everything is the original ship parts. Nothing's changed here since the 1930s. My grandmother found a ship nearby that they were decommissioning, so she bought it. And they took out every piece of wood, every sign, every bunk, the head, everything from that ship and rebuilt the second floor of this cottage.
And why did she do this?
I think it was cheaper in the Depression for my grandmother to go out and buy all the interior of the ship than to buy new wood.
These beds are the original bunks that the ship's crew members would have slept on 80 years ago. Even the door signs are original.
Oh, the kids love it. I loved it. This is where I slept when I grew up. My dad and his 3 brothers slept in here when they grew up. And now hopefully the new generations will enjoy it just as much.
That generation includes Chris and Jennifer's 2 sons, Kyle and Justin, who are just as passionate about the cottage as their parents.
This cottage is one of the most important parts of my life. I've been coming here since I was in diapers, and I couldn't imagine my life without it. All the work that my parents have put into the cottage makes me feel so proud. And they care about the history of the cottage and the work that other generations of my family have put into it. Even though our neighbors have a multi-million-dollar home, I would rather be here because home is where the heart is. And there's no heart anywhere but here.
When this family isn't busy with their restoration work, it's the back-to-basics activities that they enjoy the most. Card games, swimming, canoeing.
Power boats aren't our thing. We're more, if you can paddle a canoe, if you can swim in the lake, if you can go sailing and harness the wind, that's more of our kind of speed, if you will.
In addition to the work done on the cottage, they've re-landscaped, built a new deck and stone walkway, rebuilt the shed and bunkie to match the cottage, and added a furnace and winterized it so they can use it all year long. But they didn't do it alone.
Oh, it's been lovingly restored. Everyone has put their love into it. Every worker that's been here. Friends who have helped out. This is my best friend, Sue, and I couldn't have done any of this without her. She did all of my sewing and everything else. I couldn't have done it without her.
This is our way of saying thank you very much for contributions.
Cheers. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers. Couldn't have done it without you.
I'll drink to that. Brian, I need some loving.
Please edit this out.
It's a labor of love, and that's what this cottage is all about.
We're preserving my family's history, and hopefully with all the work we've done to restore it for generations to come.
And how does it feel to have all the work finally done?
Relieved, ecstatic, happy.
We can finally enjoy all the fruits of our efforts, and maybe actually enjoy the summer now.
This family enjoys keeping it simple at their retreat.
Cute, huh? Back in the day, if you couldn't go to the outhouse, we used the people.
I'm Becca. I'm Danielle.
I'm Matthew. I'm Johnny. This is Aiden.
And this is our retreat.
This is what old-school cottaging used to look like. A 1920-style lakeside retreat on a private island preserved in time. Johnny Asquith and his wife Danielle love bringing their family to their back-to-basics getaway because it helps remind them of a simpler time.
We come up here, we relax, we get away from the hectic, busy city life. There's no TV, no motorboats, no internet, no cell phone. We put all that aside.
I'm not a city girl. I grew up for the first 12 years of my life in the country. To get out of the city and to come to a place that's this peaceful, it's just such a great place to recharge.
In order to get to the island, we row over. We don't even have a 6 horsepower, a 10 horsepower, or even a 1 horsepower. We just got Johnny horsepower.
I love that because it keeps him in shape.
The island was purchased by Johnny's parents when he was a kid, and not much has changed since that time.
My parents bought this place in 1960. My parents have since passed away, and for us it's just a case of keeping it the way it was when we were growing up as kids. So in reality, it's just an homage to my parents to keep things simple. You know, we like just going old school.
I love the fact that it feels like we're stepping back in time.
Right here is the main cottage to Story Island. Yeah, it evokes a romance of, you know, like the Great Gatsby kind of a thing, right? All the structures kind of look like the main cottage here. If you see a birdhouse, it looks like that. If you see the outhouse, looks like that. This is the absolute classic cottage.
Story Island is home to 2 main structures. This smaller cottage, named after the original owner's daughters, is where Johnny and his family prefer to sleep. But for cooking, parties, and guests, the big house is where it's at.
So here we are in the main living room of the main cottage. As a family, we built on the kitchen, which is back here. We built on the big dining room, which is here. The fireplace, my parents were able to have this built in 1960. And a fellow came up here, he used all the rock from the island, and he came up here for 2 weeks and he built it. This is an original map from 1889, and you can see Story Island is right up there. It says Story Island. This is very crude. In fact, they still had German Bay, which after World War I, they renamed Britain Bay. So there's lots of family history here as well. Right up there is what's called a claymore sword. And this was my dad's ceremonial sword. My father was a colonel in the Black Watch, and he actually used this as part of his dress kit. It's called a claymore, and it actually works. It says Wilkinson on the side. So again, you know, we just keep these things around because they are just part of the family, part of the history of the island.
There are many things that pay tribute to his parents, and the upstairs does too. It's pretty much exactly as it was when Johnny was a kid.
So here we are on the 2nd floor. It's an open concept style. Way back, everything is open. We haven't changed anything. We didn't want to have individual rooms up here. We wanted to keep it status quo. And what's kind of a cute kind of feature about this cottage is every single person that's ever visited, we always measure their height and the date. So starting back here when I was John, 1963, so I would have been 1 year old, all the way to my daughter and my kids and everything else, all the way my brother, I think, is the tallest. It says Mark, 1991. So it's kind of a nice slice of history here, just right on one wall.
The open concept is a great way to maximize the upstairs space, but doesn't allow for much privacy.
We can hear everything people do. So if you're looking for privacy, clearly this is not the place. So my wife and I, we sleep in another cottage.
Which is as back to basics as it gets. Who needs plumbing or electricity? Johnny and Danielle's island is only about half an acre, and on it are the main house and tool shed, an outhouse.
This is where I do all my contemplation, is right in there.
And Johnny and Danielle's favorite building, Evora Lodge.
So here we are at Evora Lodge. This is the first original structure on the island. Absolutely original from 1920s. We have not touched one thing in here in 100 years. This has no running water, no electricity. Zilch. Evora Lodge is back to basics. Come on inside. Let's check it out. So here we are. Cute, huh? It's all original. Nothing's really been done to it. This all came with the cottage. So a really interesting aspect about this little cottage is inside these doors is like a little diary. So Mr. Story obviously wrote here in pencil. It said something like, weather was cold, closed the cottage November 1st, 1920. So again, it's kind of an interesting slice of history here. And let me show you the upstairs. Come with me. So here we are, upstairs in Evora Lodge. Everything is absolutely original. You can see by the planking that it's huge planking. The 3 beds. Over here is the original peapot, which back in the day, if you couldn't go to the outhouse, we used the peapot. This is the way they had it back then. They didn't divide any of the rooms. Everybody slept in one room. And that's the way it was done back then. This is a very quiet, quaint, tranquil spot. This is our retreat.
You know what I like about this place is there's really nothing to do. And that's just a breath of fresh air. To be able to sit and finally catch up on my magazines and
Knitting.
play with the kids. I knit, which is really boring. I sleep in the hammock.
For me, it's that the island is very special. I grew up here. This is where I learned to swim. This is where I learned to be adventurous. This is a place to relax, to center yourself, to feel one with nature.
We're a family again. We're able to sit and talk, play games together.
This key here that I wear around my neck, that's the original key to the cottage. Incredible, huh? A piece of the cottage is always with me.